How you doing? And welcome to another Horseshoe review. We'll be talking about the St. Pierre Americans. I'm going to talk about these Comica mics that I'm going to be using for the audio experience. These are Comica Sig.Lav VO5 M1s, and this is just a lapel microphone. It does have a couple features. That has a lightning interface that clips right into your iPhone, so you don't have to worry about putting any kind of adapters on there. And also it has a stepless mic gain. The last review I did, I had the gain set up a little too high. Sounded good when I started. I noticed after a while it got a little crackly, so I turned it down. It's the nice thing about this is you can control the gain, so we should be sounding really good now. When we come back, we'll get right into this St. Pierre American. And welcome back. Let's get into it. This is the St. Pierre American pitching horseshoe. This is a middle of the line horseshoe for them. And they have a lot of leagues around my area and up in the Wisconsin area that actually throw these. Instead of bring your own horseshoes, they usually supply these, or you need to buy these to be in their league. So I've seen these quite a few times, and I have pitched with people that are sanctioned, and they pitched these when I was their doubles partner. I went ahead and pitched these just fine. St. Pierre started manufacturing tire chains, and then they also went into wire rope fittings, hooks, and also bridge cables. St. Pierre has been in the business of manufacturing horseshoes for 80 plus years, and they do all their manufacturing in Worcester, Massachusetts. And there's also been a few presidents that have pitched St. Pierre products. George H.W. Bush likes the St. Pierre brand, and also Harry Truman played with St. Pierre horseshoes. So basically, after looking at these shoes, we're going to look at the hooks real quick. And the hooks are not all that deep, and we do have a very slight, I mean ever so slight ringer break. It's almost completely flat, but it does have a small ringer breaker here and notched out finger grips. If you're a turn pitcher, these are contoured for your fingers to put into. They actually feel pretty good. I will test these outside and throw turn shoes with them. Just by holding these, it feels like I could really get into my grip very easily and very quickly with these little notches here. So we will check that out. And I'll throw those outside. I'll do some slow motion for you so you can see what kind of wobble and how I control them. But let's get right into the hook. They don't grab the stake. They're not contoured to grab the stake very tight, but they do grab it. I'll go ahead and measure that, and we'll get the hooking power rating, the HPR, and we'll compare it against some of the other horseshoes that I have reviewed already. So we'll take our tape measure. Turn this for you here. Touch it to the stake and the hook, and it comes up right at 5.5. This is a 5-point system, so it's at 5.5. You'll actually go in reverse. So this is a negative 0.5, which is, pretty standard. A lot of your professional pitching horseshoes are pretty much that way. There's only a few. The Patriot exceeded the hooking power by, I think, 1.5 higher marks than any other shoe, and they're the leader of the pack there with the hooking power. But these come in at the natural 5.5, negative 0.5 or 0 is the average. So I'll put those up there, and you can see those. I'm sure that if I get a shoe around the stake, it'll grab them just fine. And then we'll go to the Qukslvr. Qukslvr balance rating. I already have these marked, and we're going to see where these balance here, and they are weighted more on the toe. There we go. So these come in at a 5, which would be it's more weighted on towards the toe and less on the heels. So that would actually be a negative 5 Qukslvr. So I think these are they're going to flip closer to it like a Challenger. It's going to flip a little slower, not so fast because of the weight is more on the toe. But definitely something a 5 on the Qukslvr is something I've dealt with before. So I'm not expecting anything to surprise me with these. These will be a nice, very controlled shoe, and I should do pretty good with them flipping. So we'll get the weight next. And these are NHPA sanctioned shoes. And these come in at 2 pounds, 10 ounces. It jumped between 2.29 and 210. I would venture to say it's just under 210. My scale runs, I think, 1 ounce heavier. So this is on the heavier side. You throw a ringer, heavier shoes aren't going to come in and bully them. That's a good thing. You want to be the bully in the pits and not be bullied in the pits. So I think we've got everything. We've got the history of these and the QBR, the HPR. Let's go outside and see how they flip and turn. And then we'll come back in here and talk a little bit more about them and how things went outside. All right, here we are. I'm going to throw the Americans. I'm going to do the flip first, and then we'll go into turn shoe. Okay, that first one came off of that toe cleat, and I felt it snag on my finger. So I got to remember that. That is a larger toe cleat that I'm used to than my Challengers, so just got to keep that in mind. So not bad, pretty well balanced. So far we haven't gotten that hook into play, but we'll see if we can't get it spinning. That higher toe cleat on that first shoe, I can't throw them without thinking about it. So I have to do a small adjustment to make sure that toe cleat doesn't clip and hit one of my underside of my knuckles here. So so far that's the only really bad thing that I'm seeing on these is that toe cleat is so damn pronounced. Alright, so on my first shoe, when I actually give it some thought and make sure I concentrate on that toe cleat, she flies out of my hand good. If I had to use these in leagues or anything like that only had these, definitely I could do it and throw well with them. So we're going to go ahead and throw the turn shoe now, see how they look. I'm assuming they're just going to fly really good. They have a nice spot for your index finger right here, and should fly really good. where I thought I would need to hold these is not where I need to hold them. So let me make a few adjustments in my grip, and we'll see if that works. All right, one of the things I'm doing here is this is so pronounced that it's either get out of the, I'm holding it out of it or in it. And there's no, I'm going to try right in the middle. And that's good for grabbing shoes, getting in that corner and sort of making them spin, but it's messing up my grip a little bit because it's either one or the other, and I'd like to go right in between. So I'm going to try right in between, and feels weird, but we'll see what happens. All right, that second one went. It actually turned pretty good, so I'm gonna. But I was holding it way up here, almost putting my middle finger into that crevice. We'll try it again. All right, I think that's it. I should be able to start putting some on now. Okay, now I'll start putting them on because now everything's tied together. I got my rotation, my flip, everything's good. I'm gonna try 2 more shoes just to make sure that I have it. If these two come in pretty well controlled. Okay, so that took longer than I anticipated. I was able to do it. These wouldn't be a go-to shoe. I'd probably stay with the flip. But they do turn. They do turn pretty nice. But the thing you have to remember is I'm using a full hammer grip. So I'm grabbing it like all the way around. And a lot of times other people are just more of a fingertip grip, so they'll have more up and down movement capabilities of moving their hand up and down the blade here. So for my grip, I found it a little bit distracting having this little bump right here, but otherwise once I got that figured out, I got them well under control, and I could use them for a turn, but I would rather not. So definitely a better flipper shoe, and just as long as I keep in mind that that's going to catch my finger, so I have to compensate for that. Otherwise, we're good. So thanks for watching. Okay, just saw how things went outside, and one of the things, flipping was exactly the way I thought it was. I was able to control them very nicely. Flipping was no problem. But what I did have a problem with, what I thought was going to be really nice, is this indentation here. What I had to do is I had to get my middle finger up on this. It didn't fall into this indentation. I had to be on top of it and towards the top, and then I can actually slow the shoe down a little bit. So if you go, the further you go up the shoe, the slower the rotation. The further you come down, the faster rotation. So keep that in mind when you're throwing a shoe. You don't have a lot of room to go up and down with them, and this one I was going pretty high into the toe here, but I was able to at the end slow my turn down, get it more controlled. It was a little frustrating at first, but you'll see some successful attempts there, and we got it to go on. So this is a shoe I wouldn't turn, but that's not to say that somebody else with a different grip, more of a fingertip grip, wouldn't have an easier time with it. But with my hammer grip, I had to do some manipulation on there and move my hand around a little bit to slow the shoe down. So that is the review. I think that's where the St. Pierre is going to end, because I do not have Eagles. The Eagles is the next brand, and that is the more of the professional shoe, and it's got definitely like to review that, because that definitely has the larger hooks, and the hooking power rating on those will probably be in the lines of the Patriots. So I'd be excited to review those if anybody has those, and you're in the area. I'd love to borrow them for a couple days and check them out and do a video on them. But until then, happy horseshoe pitching, and grab you some of these. These are definitely something you want in your arsenal, in your horseshoe arsenal, because if you do come across somebody that actually plays these, you can pull yours out and play them with the same shoe, or join a league in a local league, and you'll have them already, and you'll be well versed in how to hold these and pitch them. Thanks a lot.